Stitchy friends, I'm Emma and my channel is called Emma's Stitches and I'm here in West Yorkshire. Thank you so much for joining me. It's very nice to be back. I'm really in need of a stitchy chat today. It has been 6 weeks since my last Flosstube, tiny bit more. Too much going on, I won't bore you with any of it. So I have quite a bit to show you. I have got 2 cross stitch finishes, fully finishes. I have 3 little sewing finishes, and I've worked on a small handful of projects. The main project I've been working on is my chatelaine, which I will get to. I've had 2 stitchy days at the space with the Yorkshire Stitchers, which has been fantastic. I've got Lynn, the Lancashire Stitcher, goes, and Mrs Hannah Woolstonholme goes. The Cheshire Stitcher, Lindsay, goes, and loads of Yorkshire Stitchers from Instagram, and some other people come from further away. So if you're anywhere near Huddersfield and you'd like to join us for a Saturday day of stitching once a month, it'd be great to see you. It's a really good room, lovely atmosphere, and just a brilliant day of stitching, chatting, laughing, maybe not so much stitching, and a little bit of purchasing from Lois's D-stash. So I'll show you my bits from that later as well. Okay, so let's get on with it. So I know you're probably dying to find out what happened to my little friend, my cross-stitch doll. Right, don't be too hard on me. I've decided she's finished, she's fully finished, she's all stitched together, she's stuffed. Okay, it was a job and a half, this. My first mistake, really, I think, was doing her on 32 count, because she's come out so small. My second mistake was interfacing both sides of the doll and then using my sewing machine to stitch with the right sides together right next to the edge of my stitching. So you can imagine, well, I'll show some pictures at the same time as I'm talking. So I stitched her all together. She looked absolutely stunning, completed. I'll have put those up as well so you can see. And then I couldn't turn her because I've separated the arms and the legs. They were almost impossible to turn. The legs I couldn't turn at all. I managed to turn one arm, I think, almost ripped it out of its socket doing it. Her head was a bit of a struggle. So I realised then I wasn't going to be able to turn her. So I had to unpick quite a lot of what I'd done, enough so that I could turn her back out so she was wrong sides together. And then I stitched some back up again. I left myself quite a large gap, sort of say down one side of her body, and started stuffing her. So in her head she's got walnut shells. She's a bit crunchy in her head. I thought the crushed walnut shells would be the easiest, because I thought they would just slide in to the doll and fill all the little tiny spaces. I was wrong. Because of the interfacing, it just stuck. It wouldn't slide. So I was spending so long trying to jam it in. I was using, what was I using? I had my little seam tool at the pointy end. I had it in. I could get it all the way down to the feet. I could get it all the way down to the bottom of her arms. I could get the tool everywhere, and I couldn't get the walnut shells to go with it. So I got the head stuffed, and then I tried to stuff the rest of the body. It wasn't working. I took her to one of the stitchy days at the space in Huddersfield, and I had a bit of help from Janet and Jenny. and they pulled out some of the stuffing that was already in, some of the walnut shells, and just gave me a bit of advice. Janet was telling me to really break it up really tiny, and try again at home. So that's what I did. And we had words, didn't we? But once I'd got over it, she came back out, and I actually tried cotton wool instead, and I broke the cotton wool up into the tiniest little pieces and tried again stuffing. Now, as you can see, I wasn't entirely successful. She's got a funny looking head. She's got a funny bend in a waist in the middle, sort of funny looking. Her arms are a little bit floppy. Her legs are not bad, but they almost bust open trying to stuff her and stitch her again. So anyway, lots of lessons learned with you, wasn't there? I decided in the end that she's turned out more like me than I ever could have possibly imagined, because she doesn't look anything like what I thought she was going to look like. Number one, she's a bit lumpy. She's got lumpy legs. She's got a dodgy shoulder. She's a bit nuts. And you're practically imperfect in every way. So she's my little opposite Mary Poppins, mini-me, aren't you? So there we go. There is the story of my cross-stitch doll. You know, she was from this book. She's not one of the 20 dolls. She's one of the mix and match that I put together, and I switched up her hair to match mine, sort of, without the grey, and put her in a little gardening dress on wellies. A cute little bow on the back. That was very sweet. She's a beautiful design. It was all there in my head. It just didn't quite, the execution wasn't quite as I was hoping. But never mind, it doesn't matter. I may well start another one. If I do another one, which I will do another one at some point, maybe not this year, maybe next year, I will stick with 28 count. Or even, like Cross Caroline did, and do an even bigger one. So there she is. Put her down there. There you go. Those are my lovely threads that I used. I mean, all the beautiful colours. Absolutely stunning design. So thank you very much, Susan. I did enjoy doing her very much, but I have learnt a lot, and it's a good test to, you know, see how things actually turn out with your sewing. Not always quite what you think, but never mind. Doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter. Okay, so that's her. Enough about her. So my other cross-stitching finish was this one. I think, had I just started it, or was I about to start it last 6 weeks ago? Not totally sure. Anyway, here is, let's get it the right way up, my little Mill Hill ornament with the cutest little ladybird on there, and lovely black watermelon seeds sitting on a tablecloth. And I finished it off with some matching green felt on the back and the little magnet that was supplied. So there's my little summery watermelon Mill Hill. And then just up here I have just got out my last year's Mill Hill summery finishes, and again that was the same. That one magneted, and that one I just used some of the leftover beads and made a little hanger. Oh, that way. So those remind me of last summer. So there's my little Mill Hills. Before I go on to my sewing finishes, I shall just show you this one. This, I was rooting around in my cupboards for something, don't know what, and I came across my box of my grandma's things. My grandma passed away in 2012, Edith she was called, and She used to have loads of fridge magnets on her fridge, and when she passed away, my auntie gathered up just some bits of things from her kitchen for me. And so one of them was some fridge magnets and some little ornaments. And this was in the box, which I'd completely forgotten about. It's the sweetest little Welsh dresser. It's done on quite a tiny Ada. It must be an 18, I think, or maybe even smaller. And I think I did a quick Google, and I think it might have been a free kit in a magazine, actually. Now, this wasn't done by my grandma. It was done by my grandma's sister and given to her as a present at some point. My grandma's sister was called Doreen, and she is a grandma to a neighbour of another Instagrammer, Stitchy Instagrammer, Mrs. Hannah Wollstonehome. So she's friends with my cousin, once removed, or second cousin, not sure, down the generations, across the line. So my grandma and her sister, their children, my mum and my auntie Michelle, and then their children is me and Hannah's friend, who's my cousin, second cousin, whatever she is. Anyway, funny story, small world, isn't it? You've probably no idea what I'm on about. I've not explained that very well. But anyway, I thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe that. So this was my auntie Doreen's stitching from goodness knows how long ago. Must be, she died long before my grandma. So it's got to be at least 30, 40, maybe even more than 40 years old, this. But was on my grandma's fridge. If anyone recognises it and knows when that magazine was out, it must be 80s, mustn't it? It must be the 1980s, then let me know. But I was so thrilled to have something that my Auntie Doreen has stitched. Just took my breath away, really. So that's what that one is. So there we go, a little snippet from the past. That's nice, isn't it? So, what else shall I show you? I shall show you, I meant to do this a couple of times ago, I was going to talk about Mill Hill storage. And I know lots of other Flosstubers have talked about it over time, but I just thought I'd quickly show you mine. So, I do use the little cheap boxes off Amazon with the little tic-tac boxes in it with the little flip lid, and I put a sticker on the top, what it is, the colour on the side, and then I can see at a glance when I look in what numbers I've got. But then when I do a Mill Hill kit, you always have leftover beads. They're so generous with the beads, aren't they? So then I have another box which is Mill Hill leftovers, and then in here I have just the same, but the ones that have got a little handful of beads in the bottom that are left over from your Mill Hills, so that if I was ever doing any personalisation of something, or you know, just anything that you might want a few beads for, I've got another selection like that. I mean, there's absolutely tons in some of them. Look at that one, Bahama Blue. That's from the bucket. So all that blue was a bit on the sea, a bit of the sea and a bit of the handle. And that's how many beads I had left. It's tons to work on something else. So, and I printed off, and I think I must have got this from Wichelt's website, an inventory checklist, so that I keep a track of what I've got. I also try and keep a track, I use in different pens, what I've got in kitted up projects, so that I know what's where, and then I use that to cross-reference when I've done my Mill Hills putting the spares away, or if I'm kitting up a new project and having a look what I've got. So there you go. That's just a little bit of my storage on Mill Hills for you. Right, what next? The sewing finishes. So I made another little project bag. This was from the fabric panel that I bought off Gay at the Ladybird Retreat. I think I showed you the fabric panel. So I did put a cute little wooden spool on, and I wound the Gutterman variegated thread that I'd used to do some pattern stitches round and stitch the whole thing together, and a little sewn with love button. I think they were from Trudian Designs, the Jeff P. Smith on eBay, but I think you can't get those little trinkets on eBay. They were from the Knitting and Stitching show. They have them in little pots and boxes, and it's all very exciting. So I've come home from the Knitting and Stitching show with those little buttons, added them to my project bag. I've put some lovely bobbin fabric on the back. I've quilted it. That was from So I'll have to write it down. It escapes my mind. They were also at the Knitting and Stitching show, but I'd ordered this from the website. And then I've put a little sewing machine charm on there, and inside is scissors. So that was another little use of part of the panel that I showed you. And then at the same time as doing that, I made myself a little thread bed, needle book, whatever you want to use it for. Done a tiny bit of quilting on it, put a little snap fastener on, and for your odds and ends, you know, when you sat at retreat and you, anywhere you are where you're stitching, you need somewhere to put your bits without leaving a big mess. Stick a needle in there. Goodness knows what thread that is, not a clue. So that was another cute one that I can just chuck in my bag, and it's pretty handy, and it matches. It's the same panel. So then I started making a few more because there was loads on that panel, wasn't there? So I'm partially through making this one. That will be like that. And this one, that's cute with the hearts. I did the hearts at the front, pins at the back, and then this was another one. I made a bit of a mess there, unfortunately, but never mind. Can't be perfect all the time, can we? And they've all got dotty fabric in the middle, and then I'll put the felt layers in. I just got a huge roll of felt from Amazon, just to put the felt layers in the middle of the books. So let me know what you think, if you think that's something that you would use as well. It's just fun, isn't it? It's fun having a play on the sewing machine, and I've been playing with the different stitches that the sewing machine does. It's just a cheap one from Aldi. They don't even do it anymore. It's a shame. It's a Netchi, or Necchi, I would say. So, and it's got all sorts of embroidery stitches on and letters and all sorts. I love it. Anyway, so that's my sewing finishes. Keep that felt out of the way. Oh, and I also made a grime guard as well, which I shall show you. It's on my chatelaine. So those are my 3 sewing finishes. So what else to talk about? So here is my book of days for May, because that was my last, the purple is my last Flosstube filming session. So since then, the weekend after was the Otley show. I was talking about the Otley show to you, that I was entering a few things in there. One was a tote bag, handmade tote bag. You could enter up to 2 things in each category. Cross-stitch pieces, Christmas decorations, children's toy. I think those were the 4 categories, and I was entering 5 pieces across those 4 categories. Anyway, the doll didn't get finished. Well, she did, but she didn't. So that was one I was going to put in for the children's toy, but she didn't make it, so that's fine. I also entered my 2 cross stitch pieces. I did the January pillow that I've shown you before, and the drum, Tiny Town Christmas drum, and then I did 2 Christmas decorations as well. So I was worried about how to display everything, because I thought if it's just a big table, I don't want it just lay flat. You want it a bit more up and so you can see it properly. So I found those on Amazon. So that had a couple of my things on. And then I also found like a little banana tree, you know, like a little stand that you would hold bananas on, but like a smaller version for ornaments. So I got some of those as well. So I made them look quite nice. Had to go down on the Friday afternoon, so I had to be there for about 4:30. So I was like furiously doing the doll all day Friday, and I just thought at whatever point I was like, this is not gonna happen, leave the doll, just go. So I went down to Otley and found the huge tent. It was the handicraft and produce tent. It was absolutely huge. And found my spots that had been reserved. You have to say what size your pieces are, and you go in and you put them on your spots. And had a little nosy at what else was there. There were some things there at that point, but not everything. And then myself and my husband went back the next day. Children refused to come. They're back teenagers. So just me and Nick went back down, and it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it, actually. Looking at all the different sheep breeds and the tups. Oh, they were huge. And the horses. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a lovely day. There was loads of families there with younger kids, obviously. And all sorts going on. It was great. I had a great time. Had a nice walk around the tent, which was very humid in there. I'm really glad I didn't take any of my more bigger pieces or framed pieces behind glass, because the humidity in that tent was crazy. I would have thought that would be quite damaging, to be honest. I had worried a little bit about the security in the tent, because obviously I was dropping off Friday night and the show wasn't till the Saturday. And it seems I was right to, because apparently there was nobody there from 10 o'clock onwards, so anything could have gone awry in that tent. I mean, you know, obviously people want to steal cross-stitch stuff all the time, don't they? But, you know, you just never know, do you, if there's kids messing about or, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so my pieces were all on display. There was a lot of pieces on display. There was loads of lovely tote bags. So my tote bag was blown out the water with proper tote bags, proper quilted tote bags, full-size tote bags. Really, really lovely. My cross-stitch pieces looked tiny because there were other pieces there in frames. The one that won was Mini Masterpieces. I shall put pictures up while I'm talking. So I'm sure you've all seen them, the little mini versions of pieces of art, historic artwork. So somebody had done a whole set of them and laid them out on a board. And then there was another one, Caterpillar cross stitch, British Isles one, that also won a spot. And then in terms of the Christmas decorations, there must have been about 100, maybe even 120, 130. There was a lot of Christmas decorations of all different mediums, not just cross stitch. So there was, you know, quilted items, beaded items, you know, every kind of possible Christmas decoration, anything that you could hang on a Christmas tree, basically. So it was lovely to look at them all and see everybody else's work. I didn't win anything, which is fine. No, I didn't have any expectations there. It was really nice just to see how many other craftspeople there are locally, because you forget, don't you, when we're just sat at home on our own, if you don't get out to groups and stuff, you don't actually know how many people there are in your local vicinity that are doing the same thing as you and enjoying the same things. So I really liked having a look around. I shall just tell you what this was the only bit I wasn't impressed with. See what you think. So on the handmade tote bags, as the judge had gone round and judged the items, she'd scribbled on the tablecloths. It was paper tablecloths. So the winning items had the badges, rosettes on or whatever, and then she'd written a bit of feedback for each category. Okay, so this was the one next to the tote bags. This was a large class, and it was difficult to choose the winners when there was this level of competition. I looked for a good, useful bag first of all, neat work, and a range of craft skills. So that's all good. Yeah, that's the how she was basing her judgment, and she's right. There was a really lovely range. Like I say, there was a great range. Only the last sentence was a bit of a kick in the guts. Sometimes beautiful decoration is spoiled by finishing that is nowhere near the same standard. So I thought, I feel like that's aimed at me, that one, because obviously mine was all the Halloween stitching, which is really lovely. And then the bag probably leaves quite a lot to be desired, because it's designed for a child to take out trick-or-treating, not designed to win a competition. And I don't think it really matters. So I was a bit like, are you kidding? Why has she written that? Let me know what you think. I think that last sentence perhaps didn't need to be there, but never mind. So I've shown you all the pictures. Hello, buddy, all right? You come and say hello? You're keeping cool? Come say hello. I'll take a little picture of you and then everybody can see. Give me a smile. Oh, beautiful. He's off outside. Too hot for you today, isn't it? So that was the show. It was very good, and at the end of the afternoon, brought everything back home again, and all was fine. So there you go. That was Otley's show. The week after that was the first of the Yorkshire Stitchy Days at the Space that I went to. That was great. And then the weekend after that, at the end of May, was Lynn, the Lancashire Stitcher. It was her Wrexham Retreat, which was absolutely brilliant. I wanted to go on the Thursday night because it's quite a drive from me. It was about, well, in actual fact, I think it took me something like 4 hours to get there, because it was like a whole afternoon of a job. I had a couple of stops at service stations, and the last service station I stopped at was Chester Services, and for some reason it was mayhem. So I couldn't get out for about half an hour. So in the end it took about 4 hours for me to get from door to door at the hotel in Wrexham, which was really lovely. So I arrived about 5:30ish, and there was a couple of stitchers sat outside already having a drink, shouted, hello, hello. And then there was another group sat in the bar. So it was really nice. I just checked in and came straight back downstairs again, and sat and had a chat. And then we all had a meal together the first night before the main event started on the Friday morning. So really, really, really nice evening, nice chatting. There were some lads in the bar from Bolton, and they were going, well, what are you lot all doing? What are you doing? Are you crocheting? You're like, no, not crocheting. We'll show you. So it was the usual bit of fun from the guys that were there working on the work week, and then they were off on Friday, and we were settling in for our stitchy weekend. So it was lovely. Lynn did a taxi service for me to create nostalgia on the Friday, and Nimble Thimble on the Saturday. We did? Yeah, that's what we did. She went quite a few times backwards and forwards with different people. Everybody was sort of in and out as they pleased from the stitchy room, coming back with all the goodies. It was just such good fun. It was great, actually, because the actual hotel part was literally just stitching and chatting. There was nothing else going on. It was all very easy going. The weather was lovely. Obviously, you just come and go from your hotel room, eat your food, go to the Stitchy room, have a great time. Oh, I was in my element. Yeah, really enjoyed myself. So yeah, got lots of haul, which I shall show you after I've just gone through my whips. And thanks very much to Lynn, Mrs. B. So yeah, came home on the Sunday night and was thoroughly exhausted and had a great time. It was really, really good. Got my name down for next year. I highly recommend Lynn's Wrexham Retreats. She's actually got 2 going on next year. She wanted to try and get as many people the opportunity to go that want to go. So she's, you choose one or the other. You can't put your name down for both unless there ends up with spaces. So if you fancy it next year and a little trip out to create nostalgia and Nimble Thimble while you're there, highly recommend it. Great hotel, great food, great company. So I'll put a link at the bottom where you can find Lynn's Facebook page with the details of the retreats. Okay, so yeah, that was that weekend, and then moving on to June. Again, you can see each day I have continued with my 100 Days of Chatelaine. Today is day 96, and the culmination of the Chatelaine 100 days is with the Chatelaine Retreat this weekend. The 100th day is Friday, so I'm looking forward to that one. That is in Crewe, and I can't wait to go and see all the Chatelaines in the room, and you get to see everybody else's stitching and all the specialty stitches, because chatelaines really have to be seen in real life to be appreciated. It's no use on a photo, just not as good. I'm probably not going to be able to show you how good mine looks either. Not being big-headed. I mean, credit to the designer, obviously. She was very talented and has done such a lovely job. So let's work my way through my whips and I'll show you the chatelaine last. So at Lynn's Retreat I had a new start, which was this one. I wanted to start the greenhouse since it came. This was number 3, so this was from months ago. I really liked the look of it. I thought it was very pretty, And you know, I was telling you that I got the Wiggly Fabric of the Month box. So I had seen this one and I had in my head that that was going to be perfect. I thought, yeah, beautiful. And I got down to Lynn's retreat at Wrexham and I was talking to Gabriella, Gabri Stitches, and she was like, no, that's not going to work. It's like, I didn't realise. She said that all that white, that's never going to show up on there because that green's too bright. And I don't know why I didn't think of it. It just doesn't occur to me the same way. I don't think I have the right eye for colour in that regard. Anyway, so I stitched some of the white on to test, and she was quite right. You couldn't even barely see it at all. So I had to sack that idea off. And then the next day is when I went to Create Nostalgia, and the owner there is Mary. And so I asked her what 36 count fabric she had, and she had this one, which is a very lovely antique lamb's wool in permin linen. So I made a start on there, and that's showing up really nicely. Look at the cute little kitty. Kitty. I think that kitty's going to need some whiskers. So I have worked on that a little bit. It's actually quite tricky working out, counting the swirls, and it's not quite as easy as it looks, but anyway, so I got up to the door and made a start on the plants. I'm just working my way across, and we'll see how we get on with that, but I'm really pleased with that on that colour. I think that's working out well. So thank you, Gabriella, you were quite right, and I'm very glad you stopped me before I got too far making bad choices. So that's the greenhouse. I'm stitching it exactly as charted and with the colours that are charted. Where are my colours? That's the greenhouse. So those are the greenhouse colours. They're absolutely lovely. I'll show you the fabric again. And I've just done a little key that I've put on there. So yeah, enjoying that one. That's very lovely. And so, and then my next whip, I also worked on at the Wrexham Retreat, just a little bit. Again, don't hate on me because it's not a massive amount of progress, but all progress has been given to Chatelaine. Here's my Capricorn lady, and I started to do this work on a dress down here, just so I could start to get an idea. And she is Nora Corbett, Capricorn, from Zodiac Girls. So you just can have a quick flick of her. And I have also worked on a little bit more on The Queen of Thread by Lindy Stitches. She was a Nashville release this year. What am I stitching her? I'm stitching her on Gingham Hearts, which is from the Cross Stitch Bunny shop. And I am trying to get around the border. It is stitched with Cottage Garden threads, so they're all lovely and variegated. I just get a little bit bored with borders. I've done the fun bit, I've done the queen, I've done the tomato, and so yeah, just plodding on with that border here and there to get on with her and get her a finish. Not sure how I'm going to fully finish her. So she's with the lovely cottage garden threads, which you probably have seen that you can now get from Talking Dog Stitcher, which is fabulous to have some close by. Know where I can go, and I need some more. That's a 32 count, is it? Yes, it is. It's a 32 count gingham hearts, even weave. Really nice. So a little update on her. In the previous bag I've shown you, another one of my stitchy creations from a fabric panel from Laurie Holt. Okay, let's clear up this mess. And next whip, again, not a massive amount of progress, but some progress nonetheless, was another Nashville release from this year. Where is the picture? Teresa Kogut's Needleworker's Oath. Cute as you like. Look at that. Really cute. And this is where I'm up to now. So I'm just working on the huge dress. And I've done a little bit of boot, like a stubby little boot at the moment. Not totally finished. And that's a big pocket. So let's put them together for you. Yeah, don't know how long that skirt's going to take me, but I better not move on to anything else before I finish that skirt, because what's going to happen? I won't want to go back to the skirt. So I shall continue with that also. What are my threads for that? So the threads for this are some lovely colours there, and some lovely colours, some lovely classic colour works there. So yeah, that's pretty. She is stitched on Cafe au lait even weave, 36 count. So you can see some splodges, nice splodges. So she's fun. Oh, little needle minder. Show you the little needle minder. That's from Denke Designs. Coffee is always a good idea, especially before I speak to anybody in the morning. So that's her, which brings me to my big, beautiful polar mandala. Oh, sorry. What? And here's where I am up to. So no stitching today as yet. I usually stitch on this in the evening. I think I was almost finished with the central cross stitch, wasn't I? I think I was just down to this little corner of the sunset. Not the sunset, the glow from this pink bit anyway. So that was completely finished, and then had to move on to the border, which is very difficult to show you. Not even sure that's focusing. So what I might do is put some pictures in, some photos that maybe might show it a little bit better. It's really not easy to. It's not easy to see. It's not easy to photograph. Let me just pop it there. One moment. Pop her there. Stay there. So let's talk about what I've done. Where's my? So I'm working on some beading at the moment, and I'm using my tacky bill, sticky bob, whatever it's called, and I've laid out the codes for the beads. I mean, you can see they're very similar, so it's actually quite hard to distinguish. And there's beads here and in the corner, and I've also been working on the beads that go all the way around here. Lots of beads in lots of places, and I didn't want to leave it all to the end. I want to do it as I go along. I've got it in a 17 by 17 Q snap at the moment, the finished design is 18 by 18, is it? Yeah, a little bit more than that. So it won't completely fit in here. Where's my picture? I'll have to insert a picture of the full thing. Obviously, I've got the other 4 full coverage sections in cross stitch here, and I've not completely figured out how I'm going to do it. It's probably going to have to go onto bars at some point, or I don't know. I haven't figured it out in the future, but I think I can probably, if I only bead this section, I can utch it. So I can utch it down to do this bit, across to do that bit, up to do that bit, and across to do that bit, and then the other border parts, I will cross that bridge when I get to it. So there we go. I'm not really an in hand because it hurts my hand too much. I need to not have hold of it. I have this in my Lowry corner clamp on a table clamp, and so I can stitch two-handed, one behind and one in front. So I have been getting on with the beading. These are the threads I'm working with at the moment. Gloriana Night Sky, and then some dinky dyes are all around that border. There's 4 different colours there, and a Petite Treasure Braid, 47, and all those colours are in here and here. It's really difficult to see from a distance. It's a shame. Okay, so that's her so far. That is a 32 count linen Belfast. So I got Belfast as recommended. So yeah, she has had the 100 Days of Chatelaine was a minimum of 30 minutes a day. I think Hannah thought I had achieved all that with just 30 minutes a day and then stop. No, but I definitely haven't done that. I've worked harder than that. So that's more hours than 30 minutes a day. I'm not the fastest, and that's absolutely fine. I also have mentioned before that I've done the central section 2/2, not 1/2. There is another option for 1/2, but it's just not for me. And lots of people have said to me that they would have to do the 1/1. Did I say 1/2 before? I meant 1/1. That they'd have to do the 1/1. There is more detail and it does look beautiful, but it's just not for me. 1/1 doesn't do it for me. The extra stress and the time, and I'm not convinced that the end result is that much better. I think that's perfectly beautiful as it is. I think you get a good sense of the Northern Lights, and life's too short as far as I'm concerned for 1/1. But each to their own. Anybody else that wants to do 1/1, go for it. And you do get a little bit more of a panned out view. You get a little bit more skyline and a little bit more landscape. But you do you, and don't feel pressured by anybody else. If you only want to do 2/2 either, whatever you want to do is fine. So that brings me to the end of my whips and my finishes. So do you want to look at my haul? Let's have a look at my haul. I have been saving it. I haven't gone back in the bags since I came back from Wrexham. So it'll be interesting for me as well. Actually, first I shall just show you in order, because this is on top. This is what I got from Lois's D-Stash at the Yorkshire Stitchy Day. Fabulous Jardin Privé Halloween, Stitchy Halloween. Sorry if you can hear the birds. Birds are going crazy. Oh, I really like that one. That's for later in the year, obviously. A quilty one, patchwork houses. Love that. And this I've had my eye on for absolutely ages. It's the really long ABC one. It's one long panel. That's just it broken down into two ABCs of needlepoint. ABC de la Brodeuse. No doubt ruining that. I'm guessing that means needlepoint. Really like that one. This was one that made me laugh. Waxing Moon Designs. I have visions of having that up and pointing to it when my husband is moaning about my stitching or my stitching paraphernalia. We have been house hunting. That's one of the things that we have been doing. We found a house that we absolutely love. We've made an offer and the offer's been accepted in principle. However, the people that the people that own the house that we want changed their mind after 3 months of having it on the market, and they were going to go and rent so that they could get the house sold and then decide what they wanted to do, because they might want to go to a different part of the country. And then they changed their mind and decided they just want to buy outright. They don't want to mess about renting in between. Fair enough, I wouldn't want to either. But that sort of put a delay on everything. So they agreed to take it off the market. It's, like I say, in principle it's ours, but we're not starting any proceedings, not spending any money on it, or getting solicitors involved or doing the survey or anything until the point at which they've found what they want and are able to proceed on something that they want. So we're sort of a little bit in limbo land. Anyway, the point of that is that my husband we've been like looking around, what do we need to declutter, sort out, get tidied away, etc. in preparation, hopefully, fingers crossed, for moving. And he's made some comment this week about we need to be more minimalistic. So it didn't go down too well with me because I've got quite a stash. I don't know how I'm going to pack it up. I'm going to have to do it when he's at work and get it in the boot of my car or something. I don't know what I'm going to do, because he can't possibly find out how much stash I've got. Tips. Anybody got any loft space that they can lend me while we're moving? I can just squirrel it into the house at various times. Anyway, so yes, I thought my stitch shine is for your safety. Remember that. So that's what I need to stitch and say to my husband. That's why I've got that stash. That's why we've all got that stash, isn't it? We need it. Anyway, Lois's stash. Oh, it was quite heartbreaking looking through all her stash. I did find it quite. I have deep thoughts about things anyway, and you're looking at Lois's lifetime's collection of stitching paraphernalia, and just feels heartbreaking that she's having to now part with it all because she's had to accept that she hasn't got space, she's downsizing, she can't keep it all, she's not going to have time to stitch it all. And it just makes you think about yourself, doesn't it? And really, we really should I should probably keep myself a bit more in check, but hey, small pleasures, the pleasures are few and far between at times, aren't they, in this hectic, stressful life? So we're not doing any harm if we're supporting businesses, stitchy businesses, and we've got a nice community going on, haven't we? That's what I think anyway. So 2 more. I love that one. I've never stitched a Barbarana, so I thought that would be very cute as the first one. Stitchingly Ever After, it's called. Really sweet. Never seen that before. 2013. So yeah, she's got some real old goodies in there, and a tiny modernist seasonal bell jars. So that was all Lois's stash. So thank you very much, Lois, if you're watching. They'll be stitched, hopefully. At least some of them will be stitched. And if not, then we've helped you out, haven't we? By helping you de-stash. Okay, right, where are we up to? Under an hour with some editing. I'll quickly show you Create Nostalgia haul, because I know you'll want to see this. I loved it in Create Nostalgia. Never been before. Everybody said, "Yeah, you're gonna love it, you're gonna love it," and I did love it. You go in, and it's just like an Aladdin's cave. It's this tiny little shop, and the number of products she must have per square foot must be, I'd love to know if she knows. Do you know, Mary, how many you've got per square foot? You must know, mustn't you? You know. I would hazard a guess it would be easily 1,000 products per square foot. Easily. Easily. It's mesmerising. You go in and you don't know where to start. There's so many things, so many stitchy things that you can see in real life, not just online. You know, it's a totally different experience shopping in person. Really great. Yeah, well enjoyed myself. I got, sorry for the rustling, I got a bobbin, not one of those silly expensive ones, £80. No, this was a bargain price of something like £4.50, something like that. Anyway, and she had loads of different sizes, and I kicked myself when I came out because I wanted to do a little bobbin mouse from Stacey Nash. It was also a Nashville release. And I need a little bobbin for the little mouse to sit on. Bobbin, it's called, the mouse is called Bobbin. You've probably seen it. A few people have done it already. They look brilliant. Anyway, I got a big one. I was thinking about the tiny towns, or anything. Anyway, so I got one of those. Mary did us all at the Wrexham Retreat a little magnetic board with a needle minder on and a needle. That was quite cute. What does it say? With this, you see a gift from me. Create Nostalgia, love, Mary. Isn't that lovely? There were sweets in as well. Sweets have gone. Sweets were gone within seconds. So what else did I get? Oh, this gorgeous little bag of goodies. It's so exciting. I shall quickly show you. Right, now this wasn't from Mary. This has been stuffed in there. This was de-stashed at the Wrexham Retreat from another lady called Emma. Another Emma. And it was the Four Seasons Puntini charts with pins and the little buttons. There was one that was missing and I managed to get it from which one was it? So that one had no pins with it, but they were at Nimble Thimble. So I've got those. So what did I get from Mary? I got a little Mill Hill Santa. The Mill Hill selection was brilliant, and you know I love a Mill Hill. I got a little one, little stamp. How good is that? And I also got these little buttons. They're sweet, aren't they? And then Mary has this like acrylic set of drawers, and in each drawer is 100 different buttons. So I went a bit crazy in the button drawers and got a really lovely selection of different buttons for different projects. How lovely are they? They're so good. Oh, I was in heaven there. I could have had one of everything. If you had a bottomless pit of money, you'd have one of everything. But anyway, so those are for future projects. I also had my eye on Seaside Tiny Town, obviously, and Honey of a Tiny Town. Yeah, those are two that I really want to do. So Seaside Tiny Town has got little beads in for seagull's eyes, and Honey of a Tiny Town has got little buttons in for decoration. And then I also got this one little companion piece to the Honey Town, but she didn't have the seaside one. I think somebody had already picked that up, but I did manage to get it from Nimble Thimble, so I'll show you that in a minute. And some beautiful ribbon, a few packs of needles. There's some size 28, I wanted some size 28, I want to go smaller. And some pins, some summery pins. She also had some fabric panels, which you know I like. So I got this one. This was only £1.20. Look at that, bargain. And you've probably seen something similar. I've seen these at the knitting and stitching shows before now. Which way up? So again, I thought those would be good for either little pouches or little needle books. Really cute. Love that. Love the colours and love that design. I don't know who the designer is that does that. And obviously the fabric. I got the fabric for the greenhouse that I started, that I've showed you already. So that was Create Nostalgia. That was lovely, wonderful. Highly recommend. Leave that all a big mess now. I did get this one as well. I don't know which shop I got that one from. You know, I like my Permin. It's 32 count. Graceful Grey, that's called. And then went to see Chris at Nimble Thimble. I put you in a little video of what it was like outside Nimble Thimble on the Saturday morning when we went there. That was really nice, really peaceful. I don't know if you can hear the saw going. One of my neighbours is doing something not so peaceful. Birds, saws, whatever. So this is Nimble Thimble. Exciting! And I'll quickly show you these, and then I'll get off. Quilt kit, Christmas tree presents. It's the company, the Bee Company. So I like the look of that. Got a little tree in, and little buttons, and the thread and the fabric. How sweet is that? You don't see these sorts of things, do you, when you're looking online? But you see them in a shop, and you go, nice. Got a bit giddy. What was this one? This is something. What is it? Something sparkly. Oh, nice. She had a little sled. Oh, try not to break it, Emma. I can't get it to dangle. It just needs a bit adjusting with the wires. A little sled. And then the pattern that I wanted to do on the little sled was one of these. I have bought it. What did I buy for the sled? Don't know. Where is it? Not that one, not that one. It's a Christmassy one, obviously. Not that one. There it is. That one. Oh, I wanted to do that little guy because it's that size sled that I've bought. But there's also these other patterns there. Morning Star Santa. Yep. So it's the same pattern but different sizes. Yeah, so you can size it for the sled. So hold me to that at Christmas. That should be displayed somewhere. I also got a couple of packets of Mill Hills that I think she was trying to get rid of her Mill Hill stock. And I got some Mill Hill perforated paper. And then I really wanted the red as well. But Christmas Carol had bought the red, but she very kindly gave me a piece, because there's 2 pieces in the packet, and she very kindly gave me one of her pieces, which she didn't need to, but thank you so much, Carol, that was very lovely of you. And the proviso that I stitched something nice on it and show her, so that's on the list. This was another little one from the Bee Company, a little birdhouse. How lovely is that? Just really like them, they're nice and simple. They'll be very elegant. Well, that was another Mill Hill, a bronzy one. I think I was thinking of my Indian Maiden for these, actually. Because I've had to substitute the beads in the Indian Maiden, but I thought that might be a nice bronze. But I haven't got to that bit yet. Also bought Moons Out, Brooms Out. Love it. Autumn Lane. Love it. I love that one. And what was this one? The Baby Bug Ball. Shepherd's Bush. So sweet. And again, that's got buttons, beads, all good stuff. Love that. Gabriella was talking about these in the bar on the Thursday night. So obviously she enabled me to get that. Thank you very much. The pins in. I did get another Halloween one. Where's this one by? Thistles. Show and Tell at the Witch's Retreat. Love it. And this one. And finally, the little accompaniment to Seaside Frill, to Seaside Tiny Town. So there you go, that was all my haul. Naughty girl, too much. I did get another one as well. I can't show you that. Joy to you, another little one with a little button. So there you go, right, that's my stitch chat done. Eldest child is about to bash his way through the door. One final thing. Did come home with all this and I was hunting through my stash for something. And I found that. Not good, is it? So, you know what that means. I'd like to gift somebody this. UK only, please. Just be a subscriber. Like this video. You'll have stuck around all the way to the end. You didn't know this was coming. So if you've given up already, too late. So thank you to all those who have watched me for the whole hour. And I wish you could talk back to me instead of me talking to myself. But anyway, I shall give this away in my next Flosstube. No idea when it'll be. I can't commit to dates because I'm terrible. I can't do it. Leave me a comment telling me your favourite seaside place to go. And just have the word seaside in your sentence. And I'll use seaside as the search word for the winner. So I'll draw it on my next Flosstube and I'll send this out to you. Make sure you're old enough to tell me your details and don't say any of the obvious words. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for humouring me. and I hope that was interesting. And I'll see you when I see you. Okay, bye.